the first 2-3 minutes. I'll introduce you to some
sure.
people that weren't here yesterday.
Sure.
You're free to go. All right, what's up, guys? We'll wait a couple minutes for a few of the other guys to jump on. So just sit tight for another minute or two. Just be prepared to have cam on and your mic on when you're asked to speak. So just hang. Val, you weren't last, by the way. So I'll say that.
I know, that's what I was saying.
You were doing good. You got 85%.
Yeah, I got everything correct besides the first one.
You were just slow on your.
I know, because I took my time reading them, and I'm like, I totally forgot it was like a race. But I told you I was in the last one. I told you it was Drew.
No, you did well. I was like, oh, Val got 85%.
Except I was never on top.
More than all just aside, you're not winning today, bro. You're not beating me today, bro. That happened.
We'll wait another minute here. Another minute. Okay, perfect. Jen's here too.
Yo, Ham, I tried telling you to send me your email. I can send you over the link.
Fernando sent it.
All right, cool, guys. Just one more minute. Some people are jumping on. There's Drew. Cool. One more minute. All right.
Oh, Rafa joined?
What's going on, guys?
Rafa. I can't see you, Rafa. Oh, because my screen. No worries. Oh, now I can see you.
All right, guys, let's get rolling then. So just like yesterday, very similar format, presentation, maybe some conversations happen, and then we'll jump into a little quiz at the end. So before we get there, I kind of just wanted to introduce you guys to Marlon. Marlon's on the screen. Hopefully you could see him. He's wearing headphones. There he is. So Marlon, for those that weren't there yesterday, if you watched the call already, you know, but he's going to be on the office side in the virtual office as an admin assistant. And then Jen as well is here. Jen is also going to be assisting with the social media. So she's going to be our social media manager. Jen, Marlon, I know you guys are going to meet as well and get together. So we're all going to meet. But Jen, Marlon, thank you guys for coming last night. You guys do not have to be here tonight. I was telling Marlon before you jumped on, Jen. You guys do not have to be here tonight. Tonight's very much more getting into what we do here live in person with the kids. So no information that you guys really need to know. You don't need to be here for this, okay? But thank you for showing up. Everyone clap it up for Marlon and Jen. Thank you, Marlon and Jen, for showing up.
Thank you so much.
They're in Philippines and it's 6 a.m. over there, so thank you.
Thank you.
All
Bye,
right,
everyone. See you soon.
Thank you. Bye, everyone. Thank you.
bye. Okay, cool. So in-house, hold on one second, guys. In-house, we have Rafa. All right. So Rafa, I announced you last night, but I know you weren't here. So Rafa, if you don't mind just introducing yourself to the squad. I know you met most of the guys probably, maybe not everybody. So if you don't mind introducing yourself.
Yeah, of course. Hey, everyone. I'm Rafa. Been a coach for about 6 years now. Coach at Showtime. I have two teams, U9 and a U11 team. From Brazil, but born here in America. Both parents are Brazilian. And yeah, pretty much excited to be a part of the team.
Awesome. Awesome. Welcome, Coach Rafa. So let's get going here. So I'm going to share my screen. All right. Thumbs up if you guys can see that. All right, excellent. I'm going to present here. Just give me 1 second, guys. Give me 1 second so I know what the heck I'm looking at. Okay, so let's just do a quick review of yesterday. What really matters? That was one of the biggest things we talked about. So I guess if you guys don't mind sharing from yesterday, or I'll cold call on you guys, just what you took out of yesterday's call. And I will pick on, I'll just start calling on people, unless anyone wants to volunteer. Nobody, great. Okay, so we're just going with it. Drew, talk to me.
Learned about Popeyes.
Popeyes, I like it. You took Popeyes. Drew, what's Popeyes?
It's family, um, ownership, passion, integrity, creativity, and excellence.
Good, and what do those represent, or what?
There are values, right?
Values, there you go. Good, yeah, you got it. All right, thank you, Drew. Now, thinking about bigger picture, I like that, Drew. Think about the what really matters part when we're having that discussion. What did you take away from that, Valeria? What really matters?
I took away when we learned about like our approach and our philosophy part. Like how we put the individuals first and how it's like skill over technique, more of their approach to it.
Okay, cool. And who remembers what? I guess what was Keno? You tell me something else. What's something that stuck out to you and what really matters?
I think I said one of the fried rice. If I'm correct, it was it's part of what stuck out to me the most out of all the things, or just about fried rice specifically.
No, just anything.
I like that you structured it very well and explained it very thoroughly. But I think the beliefs is something that I took out of it, and our philosophy, both of those things. Um, since I do, the aspect of bringing in the athletes and signing them on, like doing the sales aspect with you, I think the beliefs part intertwines with what we tell the parents anyways. So it's already there, those three steps. So it's kind of like intertwined. So I think that combined with like the sales aspect is what I took the most out of it, because it makes sense. It all makes sense and it's cohesive into what we're trying to achieve and what we're trying to tell the parents before they even sign up for what we're about.
Cool. Yeah, no, I think that's a really good exercise for you. Good job. Jordan, what's 80% of our job? What really matters? What's the 80%?
Oh, I know this. Connections.
Connection, man. Connection with the kids, connection with the players, creating those moments, helping these kids get better, right? When you connect with the players, you can impact them. Cool. Through staff updates, the academy framework. Type in the chat if you know. Don't type in yet, but just pull up the chat. I want you to type the answer. Don't hit enter. Don't hit enter just yet. Just type it in, but don't hit enter. You're going to type in, for our framework, what does everything start with? What does everything start with? Cano talked about it kind of. Just type it, but don't hit enter. Don't hit enter. What does everything start with from our framework? If you remember, just type in the word. It should be a one-word answer. Once you have it, give me a thumbs up on the camera. Rafa, I know you weren't here yesterday. Don't worry, I have the recording for you. I will send that to you. Thumbs up. Drew's got it in. Cano's got it in. Once you got it in, give me a thumbs up. Hammerman's unsure. Bruno's got it in. Valeria, we good? Lozano's in. Valeria, give me a thumbs up. Type something in, girl. Don't be afraid to not know it. What does everything start with? It all stems from this. One word. All right, ready? Everyone hit enter. Go. Let's see what answers we got. Oof, couple different answers. Okay. Okay, cool. So, when I was talking about the framework, everything starts here, right? The beliefs, right? Everything starts here, and then we start growing out our philosophy, our methodology, our approach, our coaching style, our tools, all this stuff, right? But everything starts with belief. If you said connection, it's not a bad answer because that's the most important thing, but everything starts from the beliefs, okay? All right, cool, good job. All right, let's move on. Future coach calls, guys, on 360 Player right now in the coach chat, there should have been a post that came out, a little survey of whether you could do Monday calls or Tuesday calls. I know I asked you guys yesterday about just Mondays, but I want to give two options and see what most people could do. If you could do either Monday night or Tuesday night, comment there. If you don't know what I'm talking about, we're having coach education calls for the next month, either Monday nights or Tuesday nights at 6:30. They're going to be live, so I want to host it when most people can be there. If you can't be there live, it will be recorded and you will have a quiz to take. So it is expected, it is mandatory either way. So it's better if you're live so you get more out of it. So just go to 360, guys. There should be a post. When you've posted, type a 1 in the chat here. When you've posted and responded, type a 1 in the chat. If you need to figure out your schedule, just type that in the chat. Let me know. We'll go ahead so that way I get everyone's responses. And if you don't see my post in the group chat, let me know. You're like, I don't know what you're talking about. Rafa, I gotta add you to the group chat. So, I mean the group, not the group chat, guys. The post, the wall post. It should be a wall post. All right, Hammerman's good. Thank you. Rafa, I know you just got onto 360 Player, so I'm gonna add you in here.
We're looking for.
Go to the coaches group. Coaches group. Go to the wall. There should be a wall post from me. Add users to the group. We're gonna add Rafa. Where are you, Rafa? So you can see what we're all looking at. There he is. Already a member. Oh, you are. Yeah, Rafa, you're already in the perfect. Yeah, Rafa, you're there.
Do we comment on the post what day, or do we like send you a message?
Yep. Comment on the post. Comment there.
Okay.
Comment on the
Okay.
post, guys. Just say Monday or Tuesday, whichever days.
How long will these last for? Like
Generally an hour and a half. Generally an hour and a half, between an hour and a half and 2 hours. So
And you said it was starting when? I'm sorry.
budget time next week. Next week. These are paid trainings, as it says in the post. These are paid trainings as
Oh,
well.
I'll be there, man. I'll be there.
Jordan, you're the first to. Never mind.
I'll be 15 minutes early.
Oh, for that you'll be 15 minutes early, right?
Do I get 15? Do I get paid for those 15?
No,
No?
you get paid the hour and a half for the 2 hours that we're training.
Just remember, Jordan, that we're not getting paid for that anymore, right? In
That's just the expectation.
he implements that.
Yeah, I know.
You have to schedule a time to speak to him individually.
Yeah, we're gonna.
And about your individual pay and all that stuff.
Oh, no, I'm good with my pay. I just was funny.
Guys, if you commented on the post, just let me know. Type a 1 in the chat.
I already
I
commented.
got Hammerman, Bruno, Jordan, Rafa, Cano. Oh, Tuesday is better for most people now. Okay.
I could do Tuesday as well. I just put
If
Monday.
you could do both, yeah. If you could do both, put both. Sorry.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be one or the other. So, Cano, just put Tuesdays too. Just comment Tuesdays. That way I see it there.
Okay. Right now, that's fine for me.
If you're not sure and you're like, I don't know, do your best. Again, it'll be recorded anyway, so, but it's better if you're there live. All right, cool. I'm gonna move on. Most of you guys have responded. If you haven't responded, please respond by tomorrow's session. So when you come to the field, I have your response, okay? All right, cool. So future coach calls. All right, now we're gonna get into meat and potatoes of today. Behavior management, okay? This is the foundation before we even jump into coaching stuff. So this is kind of coaching stuff because it's talking about dealing with kids, but our content and our expertise doesn't matter if the kids aren't capturing it. And the kids aren't capturing it if they're not focused, they're not paying attention, they're doing their own thing. And generally, yes, we get well-behaved kids. We get kids that want to be there. And so for the most part, we don't have many big behavior issues, but we all want to be uniform and understand certain concepts and certain things. So that's the point of today. And you're going to get some tools and tactics and things that you can use on the field. And this is what I want you guys implementing at your sessions this week and going forward. All right, and each week we'll kind of review how things went. I will check in with you guys on the field. Hey, how are things going? How to go with this? How to go with that? Did you try this? Did you try that? Okay. So let's get into it. Oh, if you missed yesterday, you have to watch the training. Shout out to Hammerman. He did that like boom in a heartbeat and had the quiz. Hammerman, I didn't check your quiz score, but hopefully you did well. He's like, oh crap. So I will send this out. There's a quiz for it. You guys did a really good job yesterday, so well done. All right, behavior management. What is it? What is it? And this is where you guys might want to have pad and paper to start taking some notes. I will highlight when things are really important, but just in general. So just take a quick note. What behavior management, when you hear those two words, maybe there are things you've thought about before or never thought about that, but just maybe a quick thought, what that means to you. What do you think? No right or wrong answers. We'll open this up as a discussion, so please participate.
I'll give it a go.
Yeah.
So behavior management is just knowing the children that you're dealing with specifically, how one reacts, and their behavioral issues if they have any, right? What you tolerate and what you don't tolerate. But knowing how to express how you tolerate it or don't.
Cool. Thank you. Anyone else? Let's get the other Brian. Hammerman, talk to me.
Yeah, so I think where it relates to coaching is like just the words itself, managing the behavior of the kids. So kind of like what Kano said, like if you have a specific group, you're going to have them for 12 to 15 weeks, knowing tendencies of what, X kid does, maybe he likes to go use the bathroom every time, or he has injuries, just knowing how to manage that and what to say and, for what we want to do as a company.
Yeah, love that. So kind of having like little notes or tidbits on your kids, right, with their behavior. Cool. So, all right, I want you guys to think about a time that maybe you had trouble with a kid's behavior. Right, I've definitely been there. And sometimes it's gone well, sometimes it hasn't gone well, but I've learned over the years, right? So I want you guys to think about a specific time you've had some trouble with a kid's behavior. Now, this is very important. I need everyone right now to participate in this, okay? So I want you to literally write down a specific example. It doesn't have to be super intense. It could be something silly that wasn't that big a deal. It doesn't have to be dramatic. Just a time that you had some trouble with the kid's behavior. They were maybe doing something you didn't really want them doing, or they were saying something, or they just weren't listening, weren't paying attention to you, whatever it was. Just think of an example, or it could be a more serious type of thing too. That's fine. But just write down like what happened, right? What happened? What was the issue? And then write down what was the desired behavior that you really wanted out of them.
Do you want us to write it down on the chat or in a piece of paper?
Just on a piece of paper for yourself for now. But eventually, yes, you guys will share. So I'll just grab a pen and paper and just write it down. So what happened? What was the issue? And then what was the desired behavior? What was the thing that you were really wanting for them to do in that situation? So you had what happened, what the issue was, what you wanted. Step one, step two. Step three, how did you handle that situation? What did you do? How did you respond? And then that last question, you don't necessarily have to answer right now. But just what happened? What was the issue? What was the desired behavior that you really wanted? And how did you handle that situation? What did you do when that stuff was happening? Once you have it written down, just type a number 2 in the chat. Type a number 2 in the chat so I know you have it. And take your time. We could spend another minute here. If you have questions, let me know, guys. Okay, cool. I got Lozano, Abreu, Bruno, Hammerman, and Cano so far. Cool. Just waiting on a couple of you guys, but meanwhile, Jordan, do you want to share? Go for it.
So do I just say what the kid's name?
No, don't say the kid's name. We
No.
don't need to know. If he's a Tiempo kid, I guess he can. We all would know him. But just tell us really the important stuff. What happened? Like, what was the issue going on? What did you really want out of them, and how did you handle it?
So like the issue was every time we did street, he would always complain about like his game time. Like when we try to get all the kids to play equally, like sub them in, sub them out. One kid plays a full game, and whoever gets subbed out plays the full game next round. They play the full game, and like he would just keep complaining. They would just keep complaining about what's it called? About I only played for like a few minutes, or like he just get really upset. And then
So like, what were you wanting him to do instead?
So I've what I wanted him to do was like I guess we understand like we're trying to like make every kid on the team play the same amount of time, but like it's been like a recurring thing. Like it's always happened. Like every time he gets subbed out, he'd complain, and then I'd always try to talk to him, tell him you gotta like understand, like we gotta get every kid to play the same amount, and then at the end it always seemed like he understood, but then like the next time it would just be the same thing.
Okay. Okay, cool. Thank you for sharing. I like you said something important there. You try to explain why, right? That's a good tactic. Rafa, you want to share one, maybe?
Yeah, of course. Actually happened this season. I have a player on our team who has a bit of a temper. We were playing in a game. We got scored on, and I subbed him off. And the ball was at him at half field. He slammed it on the floor, ran off the field, and pushed me. You know, like he literally like put his hands on me.
Oh, wow.
And then I turned to the parent coach and I was like, he's not going to play for the rest of the game. It was the second half. I don't remember how much time was left, but I told it, you know. And then I gave the kid his space. You know, he came up to me after and apologized. He knew he was wrong because it wasn't like he put like full force on the shove, but the thought process was there. Like, should I push him? Should I not? And he actually like gave me a little shove, you know. And so, you know, that was a big problem. What I wish he would have done is just left the ball there at center field, ran off, shook his teammate's hand, and waited to get subbed back in. how we handled it. It unfortunately got escalated to his parents, and like the parent coaches spoke to him, but so that was kind of like a strike one for him on the team. But yeah, we've had many issues with him, but just trying to manage it as best as possible.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Bruno, you want to share? Drew, Val, make sure you just let me know you have an example. Just type 2 in the chat if you have one.
Yeah, I can share. So this kid, he was always, every practice he was cursing and just speaking inappropriate stuff. And we had multiple conversations about it, and he would never change. And this had been going for over a full season already. I'd like to avoid coming up to the kid's parents. I rather treat them as adults and just have a one-on-one conversation. So I tried multiple things. Every time he would curse, I would have him run laps on the field and do physical punishments like that or push-ups. That wasn't working. So if he kept cursing, I just have him sit down, and he was missing sessions. He was watching our other kids play. And then that began working, but it wasn't really having the impact that we wanted. So we had a conversation with him, and we kind of hinted that he would be expelled from the academy if he didn't change. Right. So eventually, I could see that he was starting to change. He was still cursing and just being inappropriate in general, but it was decreasing. And every time he would do that, he would come up to me and just apologize. So I kept working on this with him. I kept doing every sort of punishment I could until he understood that he shouldn't be behaving this way, which eventually worked out, and he's doing great nowadays.
Yeah. All right, cool. All right, guys. So save your example because you're going to need it for the end. Okay, so just save that. That's something that you're going to need. Again, very important. If you don't have that, make sure you have it. All right, cool. Let's move it along. So behavior management. Kano, why don't you read this?
Behavioral management refers to the systematic approach of establishing and maintaining desired behaviors in individuals or groups. This involves setting clear expectations, monitoring behaviors, and implementing strategies to encourage positive behaviors and discourage negative ones. Effective behavior management techniques may include reinforcement, consistent consequences, structured routines, and clear communication. The goal is to create an environment conducive to learning, productivity, and positive social interactions by guiding individuals towards self-regulation and responsible behavior.
All right, so that's like a very textbook type of example, and in our context, kind of a textbook example here. I guess, Rafa, you mind reading this?
In the context of Tiempo Soccer Academy, behavior management refers to the structured approach of guiding and influencing the attitudes, focus, energy, effort, communication, and respect of young athletes. The primary goals are to ensure undivided attention and consistent focus, holding athletes to high standards while balancing intensity with enjoyment, aligning with the seriously fun training style. This approach is known for the no-nonsense nurturing. Emphasizes treating athletes with maturity and respect, encouraging them to take responsibility for their actions. It involves addressing behavior issues calmly and assertively, asking athletes to step aside and return when ready, without yelling or arguing, fostering an environment of mutual respect as personal growth.
All right, so that goes back to some of the stuff we talked about yesterday with the calm approach, the seriously fun type of style. So yeah. All right. All right, desired behaviors, right? So these are some of our desired behaviors that we want to key in on for our purposes, for our trainings, right? I would note these down. So these are some of our desired behaviors here. And so focus, effort, positivity, communication, and respect, okay? We'll talk more about these as we go, all right? All right, so one big thing when it comes to the setting of expectations, there's 3 rules that we have, and there's 2 standards that we give. Some of you guys kind of know this, This has never been formally communicated to everyone, so I don't expect everyone to know this. Okay, but now it is. So now this is an expectation that you guys know this, all right? Because our kids should know this. So every time a kid comes, a brand new kid, to their first assessment, these 3 rules are communicated to them in a conversation, or at least it should happen, all right? And it's usually me that does it. I've had Cano do it as well. All right, so these are our 3 rules, all right? First one's eye contact. Second one is ask questions. And the third is be positive, all right? The first one is really just about, are they listening? How we know they're listening is eye contact. It also teaches good, positive behavior in the kids of, I want to teach them to have confidence, look us in the eye, right? Eye contact. 2, ask questions. We're there for them. We want them to feel comfortable. That's us telling them, like, ask your questions, be comfortable, all right? And the last one is being positive. Okay, so I kind of put the little script there of the questions that I asked, but I think it's better if I just show you video examples. So I have 2 examples of me doing this recently, all right? So this is with one of our newer athletes, Haley. I hope the audio comes across. By the way, make sure you have those 3 rules: eye contact, ask questions, be positive. All right, setting expectations. So this is how I did it with Haley, and hopefully you guys can hear the audio. All right, so Haley, we have a couple rules. Thumbs up if you guys can hear that, please. All right, excellent. Start our sessions. Okay, you ready? Okay, so first thing is, when coaches are talking, what do you think you should be doing? Listening. How do we know if you're listening? Looking. Good. We call that giving eye contact. Boom, you got it. That's rule number 1, eye contact. What's the first rule? Perfect. Second rule. You ready? Who do you think the coaches are here to help? You and all the other players, right? Yeah. All right. So if Haley has a question, what do you think you should do? And? Yeah, ask your question. Super simple, right? You're like, duh. Ask your question, okay? So that's rule 2, ask questions, right? When you have them, we don't want you being confused. Sometimes we go a little fast, or don't let that be a reason that you don't ask questions. Okay, we always want you to feel comfortable because we want to help you. And if you're not asking questions, we're going to assume you know what you're doing. But there should be times where you're confused, and that's okay. Sound good? So rule 2 is ask questions. What's rule number 1? Rule 2? Good. And the third rule, you ready? Okay. Do you think you're going to make mistakes? Yes. You're going to make mistakes, right? Is that okay? 100%. Why is that okay? You're here to learn, yes. And when you make mistakes, what is an opportunity to do? To learn from them, to get better, to improve. And that's the whole point of why we're here. Does that make sense? So when we make mistakes, then, should we be negative about it? What do you think we should do? Learn from them. Good. And instead of being negative, then, yeah, opposite, be positive. So that's the last rule, be positive. Especially when we're making mistakes, when we're messing up. It's totally cool. What's the first rule? Second rule. Third rule. Be positive. There you go. No, it's good. It's good. All right, so go through the 3 rules yourself. What are the 3? Contact, ask questions, and be positive. Bingo! Baller, you did it. All right. Any questions with those things? No. All right, cool. As long as you can do those 3 things every single time you come here, I promise you're going to improve, and you're also going to have a good time. You're going to enjoy yourself. That sound good? Do we want to improve? Yes. Do you want to have fun? Cool. Feel like you can follow those 3 things? Yes. Okay, cool. And I also want the homework. And you also want the, okay, that stuff's coming too. And you, all right, so we're going to watch another example real quick as well of one that was a little bit harder. She was super simple, just got it. But I want you to notice how I lay the expectations out in terms of just how you communicate with players. So just try to notice how I get them to the answer instead of, hey, these are the rules, right? We want to get them to give it to us because then it's going to stick in their mind versus it coming from our mind. Okay, so second example, a little bit tougher, a younger athlete. He's actually one of the ones I've had the most trouble with in terms of explaining and him getting the understanding of it. So you're going to see how sometimes it may not go as smoothly. All right, so Haley, we have a same one. Preston, you ready? All right, so rule number 1, what do you have to do when coaches are talking? What do you think? No, okay, we shouldn't speak. That's what we shouldn't do. What should we do?
Listen.
Listen. How do we know if you're listening?
If we're talking.
Okay, but if you're just not talking, look that way. Turn around. Turn around. Just turn around. And I'm talking to you. Do I know you're listening to me? No, so how do I know if you're listening to me? Looking at me, high five, so that's the first one. It's called eye contact. What is it called? Rule number 2, you ready? Okay, rule number 2. Who do you think the coaches are here to help?
Us.
You, right? And so, Preston, anytime you have a question, then what do you think you should do?
Ask you.
Ask, right? Me or any of the other coaches. So we want you to ask questions. So that's rule number 2. What's rule number 2?
Ask questions.
Ask questions, especially if you're confused, you don't know something, that's okay. Last one, you ready? All right. Are we going to make mistakes?
Some.
Some mistakes, right? Is that okay? Yeah, that's okay. Why? Everyone makes mistakes. And what do mistakes give us a chance to do?
To help us do better on what mistakes we were doing.
Yeah, so do they help us learn?
Yeah.
They help us learn, they help us get better, right? So just set up straight if you can. And so if we are, what was the last thing we said? All right. Preston, that didn't go as bad as I remembered. I think Valeria just messed me up. Thanks, Valeria. No, I'm just kidding. So, guys, tell me what did I do in those interactions, just in general, with trying to set these expectations? What was going on there?
You were given like for Preston, you got down on his level, eye level, and you were giving him an example. Like you said, look that way. Are you listening?
Perfect. Yeah. Perfect. So give specific examples. Thank you, Rafa. What else was going on there?
You made it very interactive. So like, he was doing a lot of the speaking and you were asking a lot of questions. So just making sure like, he's paying attention. Obviously, we can all talk for a while about it, but asking questions assures us that they're listening.
Yeah, 100%. Ask questions and ask very pointed questions. So if I go back, ready? Preston, you ready? Sorry. If I go back, and I don't want to spend too much time on this, but these are kind of the questions that I have like pre-written out. So it's all right. First thing I ask is when the coaches are speaking, what should you be doing? Right? All kids know the answer to that, right? But when they say it, it starts leading us to the answer. Oh, we should be listening. Okay, great. How do we know if you're listening? Now, sometimes they'll give you a bunch of different answers there. But eventually, most of them get to the point of like looking at you. Perfect. Eye contact. You got the first one. So I kind of design these questions to kind of point them in that direction, but without me saying this is the rule, kind of get them to say it. All right. So in general, that's something that you want to use in your coaching in general, not even just behavior management and all the stuff we're talking about today. Just in general, you want to use guided questions as much as possible. Right. And if you've been coaching for a while, I'm sure you've been doing that. But always have that in your tool belt using guided questions. You just got to kind of think through your questions a little bit. All right, what answers are they probably going to give? Where's that pointing them to? And then as you think through it, you'll eventually get the right sequence of questions, and you test it out, and you almost get the same answer all the time from the same kids. Okay, so these questions, this little script, I'll have it out for you guys. You guys will be responsible to know it, because eventually, if you want to be a lead coach or even a junior lead coach, you're going to need to lead those assessments, and you're going to need to be able to tell these kids these rules without telling them, hey, these are the rules. You need to actually break it down like I did. Okay. So yeah. So we set expectations. That's a big deal. Preston, you ready? Another part of setting expectations. So we have the 3 rules that we just talked about, but we also have 2 standards at sessions as well. All right. Effort and focus. Or if we want to be more precise with the kids, laser focus and best effort. Right, laser focus, best effort. So that's what we expect from kids when they're actually training, right? We expect them to be focused. We expect them to be giving their best effort. All right, those are 2 you need to know as well. So between the 3 rules and the 2 standards, those are the expectations that we have. All right. It's eye contact, asking questions, being positive, and then when you're training, you're laser focused and you're giving best effort, right? And the kids know these things, right? At least the kids that have been with me for a while. Maybe some of the newer ones are not all the way accustomed, or we've kind of skipped some of these steps with them. But the idea is we're all on the same page with these things. Okay, cool. So,
Wait, hold on.
question, go ahead.
Listen, what? Best effort.
What was that?
No, I just want to write it down because I need to win later.
Oh yeah, no, go for it. So that's the first step. Set the expectations with all your kids. All right, and we'll kind of circle back to this. Everything's kind of like intertwined, and like not all the way in the best order, but we're gonna work through it. Okay. Next thing we want to start thinking about after we set expectations is monitoring behaviors as we go, right? And the biggest thing I want you to think about here is just paying attention. Just paying attention, just observing. Sometimes as coaches, we all get very caught up in the setup, the session, the technical aspects, and all that good stuff, which is very important, as we know, right? That's our expertise. But we also want to make sure we're not missing certain obvious things that are happening right in front of us, because sometimes we're so thinking about certain things. So the biggest thing you want to think about when monitoring behaviors is paying attention. Paying attention. I would write that down. Paying attention. I know that sounds dumb, like, oh, yeah, of course, I'm going to pay attention. But many times, again, we get caught up in setting up the next drill or talking to each other, and instead of really focusing on the kids' behaviors, especially, guys, the biggest times that you're ever going to have behavior issues is when you're not in activity or when the activity is too boring or too dry for them, right? So when they're on water break, when they're walking to and from, those are the times you want to pay attention most. It's not the time for you to be like, oh, let me see what Bruno's crazy weekend story was this week, right? So it's the time to really focus on the kids, especially if you're in groups, right? If you have groups of kids come together, if it's a one kid, you have a one session, it's a little different, but that could be your time to connect more with the kid in general. But anyway, those off times, you want to pay attention, especially, okay? Cool. So paying attention, what the heck does that mean? Paying attention. So I'm going to open this up to a discussion. What are we paying attention to? Like what when it comes to behaviors, like what do we pay attention to? No wrong answers, guys. Just throw out ideas. Drew, tell me what are we trying to pay attention to when we're trying to think about how players are behaving?
Well, first off, everyone is unique. Everyone has different, I guess, tendencies. Yeah, different tendencies, different behaviors. So everyone is different. So one person might have their own attribute, another one will have their other one. So just paying attention in general is going to be helpful and beneficial.
Okay, cool. And what sort of things do you want to pay attention to in players? Um, who can help me out? What do you guys might be attention to?
The behavior.
Rafa and Cano.
Kenny, you want to go or you go?
All right.
Something to pay attention to their conversation, what they're talking about amongst themselves. You know, like, are they engaged in the training session? Are they talking about something completely different? Are they bullying each other? Are they being nice to each other? You know, little things like that. What are they talking about?
Love it. Yeah. What are they talking about, Cano? And Valeria, we'll get to your example that we recently experienced.
How are they paying attention? What is their behavior during training? How is their attitude? What is their body language like?
Yeah, body language, their attitude. Bingo, guys. So what you guys just said, right? What they're saying. What are the conversations like? What they're doing, right? Are they throwing random shit around? They're picking up grass. What are they doing? Right? How are they acting? Are they acting aloof? Are they not? Are they not looking at you? Are they acting funny? Their body language, right? Their facial expressions, their energy. Pay attention to these things, right? Because that may be signs of whatever else is going on. Okay, but these are things you want to just pay attention to. Okay, cool. Before I move on to strategies, Val, if you don't mind, I was going to talk about this a little later, but Val, if you don't mind talking about the recent experience you had with Arshdeep, with what was going on, like when I was there, and then what happened when I stepped in, and then what you noticed after the fact.
Yeah, that's actually what I wrote for my example.
Oh, okay, so go ahead, share that one.
Wait, hold on, where is that?
Someone's at your house. She just muted.
So I wrote about Arsh saying that how he wasn't paying attention and how he kept talking, which was causing like the other kids not to focus. So yeah, I needed him to focus on the drills, and he was just talking, just how usually kids talk and stuff. And well, you had came over, and then you helped me out basically throughout the session with reminding them how what they are here for. Like reminding them exactly what they're here for, and then they answered. And throughout the session, I just kept saying the same thing and over, like, what are we here for? And they just kept communicating with me.
Yeah. So, thank you, Val. So that was pretty much it. He was like talking, not really focused, maybe saying some silly things towards one of the girls, like nothing crazy, just like kind of like just being a little bit, not mean, but just being little kids, right? And so I just came over and I was like, hey, like, guys, why are we here? And I addressed the group because it wasn't just him. And I was like, who wants to get better? Right? Who wants to improve? They'll raise their hand. Okay, cool. Want to get better? Okay. How do you think you should respond when we're doing sessions, when we're in training? Do you think your focus should be on talking about these other things or focused on what you're doing in the exercise? We should be focused on what we're doing in the exercise, right? Kids know the answers. They know what they need to do. You just need to bring about those questions and have them tell you like, oh yeah, I shouldn't be doing that. You don't need to tell them, hey, stop doing that. It needs to be their idea. And the good benefit of our environment is all the kids want to improve. They want to be there. We're not babysitting anyone. So just say it. Like, why are you guys here? All right, cool. You want to get better? All right, that's great. Or you want to make that A team, you told me, right? Or you want to play in college, you told me, right? Or whatever. Use their goals, right? And then just get them to understand that what they're doing is that going to get you to your goal, or is that really what you should be doing then? So use what they tell you. All right. Hopefully that makes sense. But that's going to be a big strategy. Using their goals and what they tell you why they're there. Cool. Moving on. Thank you, Val, for sharing. All right. So some strategies. So a little refresher from yesterday. Coaching is a labor of love, right? We're going to lead with love always. So if you love something, someone, you're going to do what's best for them, for that thing. All that means is we're going to hold them accountable. Right? We believe in these kids so much that we're not going to accept anything less than their best. We're going to hold them accountable. That includes their behavior. Not let them act less than great character people. Okay? So we have this thing called NNN. Who the heck remembers what NNN means from yesterday?
Fernando, can you let us know when it's good to take notes and not? Because I keep writing and then.
Oh yeah, no, don't worry about this. NNN. You want to take notes on NNN? Lozano, what's NNN? You remember?
Hold on.
He's checking his notes.
I'm checking my notes.
Who can help him? Who can help
Didn't
him?
we just do this?
NNN. Talk to me, Henry.
Yeah, I just read it.
No nonsense nurturing.
There it is. There it
Took the
is.
words
It
right out of
was
my mouth.
earlier in the presentation as well.
Took the words right out of my
We
mouth.
briefly touched on it yesterday, and today we talked about it.
This guy Jordan.
So this is our part of our coaching style, if you remember from yesterday, and this is what we use for behavior management specifically. So no nonsense nurturing. Drew, why don't you read this? Ken, if you don't mind muting yourself.
Sorry.
No nonsense. Wait, can you hear my AC?
Yeah, you're good. No, you're good.
All right. No nonsense nurturing. We are nurturing children, which is more the reason we need to have structure and discipline. We love and care for them by developing them, which requires structure and discipline. We want them to grow, not to like us. AJ example.
Yeah, so that's kind of the idea of no nonsense nurturing, right? We're helping kids grow, like Bruno talked about yesterday. We're helping people become great people here. So um, we got to have structure. We got to have discipline to that, right? And um, some of you guys might remember the example. Or Cano, do you want to share what happened with AJ the other day at the street session?
Sure, absolutely. So can I say, like, first off, AJ is no longer going to be with us, unfortunately.
Not because of this, or
Yeah,
maybe because of this. We have no
yeah,
idea.
they just reached out and said they don't want to be a part of it anymore. But what happened was that specific day they were in street soccer, and Coach Fernando stopped the play because it was, I want to say it was, who was it that got hurt? Fernando?
Oh, one of the kids had fell.
Yeah.
It was I think it was a mirror.
Yes, it was Amir. Yes,
He
he fell.
fell, and AJ accidentally just like hit the back of his head with his foot, like kind of just he was just trying to keep playing.
Correct. And then when that happened, knowing AJ, right? AJ threw he's like, I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything. He was like this, and Fernando was like, no, I'm not saying that it was your fault. And Coach Fernando was like, AJ, relax. He's like, I didn't do anything. This is not. It's not my fault. It's not a foul. And then Coach Fernando's like, stop, relax. No, AJ, stop. You don't talk to me that way. Go sit down. You don't talk to me that way. Go sit down. So he went and sat down, and he still tried talking to him and answering back while he was sitting down. And what Fernando did was he told AJ, when you are ready to come and apologize and speak to me like a normal human being, like relaxed, then you could talk to me. But for now, you can sit, and when you're ready to talk, you can talk. He decided to sit like this, and that was it. 10 minutes later, I asked, hey, I would love for you to play. Are you ready to speak to Coach Fernando? He said no. He only goes, no. And then 10 minutes later, after that, he decided to go to his parents. And then his dad came on the field. When his dad came on the field, Coach Fernando explained what had happened, shook the dad's hand, and they left, and that was it.
Yeah, yeah. His dad was totally like understanding. He's like, oh no, AJ, you know how kids are. I just wanted to get your side of the story. So I explained everything that happened. And if you know AJ, he gets very defensive and loud, and he just escalated to a point that you don't want kids like yelling at you, right? So just tell the kid, hey, go sit out. You don't talk to me that way. And then you let them calm down. You tell them, all right, when you're ready, you can get up and talk to me and apologize, and then we can move on, right? And he didn't want to do that, so that's fine.
Yeah, I had trouble. That was the one kid that I had because he had that tendency to speak over you and to be right and to be me, like I'm correct, you're wrong, type of thing. And then the parents would step in and it'd be even more overwhelming. So it was like a situation where
Yeah,
I did that, but I didn't know how to handle sometimes because like you're trying to care for the relationship and keep them still at Tiempo. So it was like a weird thing.
yeah, no, for sure. And in general, sometimes you're just gonna get. Sometimes, most of the times it's not the kid's fault. That's the other thing you gotta understand with how their temperament is sometimes, or how they respond to certain things, right? A lot of that comes from how they are at home and how their parents discipline them at home or don't discipline them, right? So, but that doesn't mean we don't have our stance on how we hold discipline to our athletes too. When they're on the field, there are athletes, there are kids, right? It's not the parents' job, it's our job. Okay. At home, off the field, that has nothing to do with us. That's on them. Unfortunately, they're going to take what they at home and at school, and that comes to us. Okay. Bruno, you raised a hand.
Yeah, I'm polite like that. I just want to add, guys. So I don't know if you guys remember from yesterday, but for the lead coaches, right? Whoever's whoever's building the relationship with the parents, sometimes the relationship that you have with the parents is going to dictate how they're going to respond to when their kid is upset and coming to them in a manner where they might be crying or angry because of something that happened during the session. And if their parents know you well enough, they're going to come talk to you politely. They're not going to take whatever their kid is saying, as 100% the truth and start an aggressive conversation with you. What I like doing too is every session I update my parents on what's going on. And sometimes I tell them beforehand, listen, I'm going to start being a little bit more strict, more tough with this kid because I need him to do these things. So if he comes home complaining a little bit or tired, this is a reason, but it's because I believe in his potential. So this way you're also giving them a heads up. Listen, this is going to happen. So just be ready in case he complains or anything and let me know, because then I'll push off a little bit and I'll relax a little bit. So this is how you work with the parents and you avoid potential future issues if they ever come.
Yeah. No, bro, that's excellent. And that's why I pointed you out yesterday, because I know you do a really good job of that. And so that's something that, for those interested in lead coaching, that's something eventually you're going to have to be responsible for too. So Bruno makes a really great point there. You got to partner with the parents. It's kind of what he's saying, right? So yeah, great point. Okay. I also want to highlight a little shout out from Hammerman. I hope he doesn't mind me sharing this, but in his little message to me after he watched the call from yesterday, he shouted you out, Bruno, says they do a very good job of being able to be friendly with the players and make yourself like a friend to them, but then you can be very, very serious with them when it's like time to go, and the kids know when it's time to flip. So Hammerman did recognize that in you, and just wanted to shout that out from Hammerman. So little love shown. So presence, all right. We're gonna talk about presence now as a coach. What does presence mean to you? Presence as a coach. What does that mean? Everyone type your thoughts in the chat. Presence. We'll do this one in the chat. Don't hit enter. Just maybe a quick sentence on what presence means. What does it mean to have presence as a coach? What does that mean? Just don't hit enter. Type it in the chat, but don't hit enter yet. We'll all hit enter at once, and we can see everyone's answer. That way, you don't just kind of take someone else's answer. Type in the chat. Once you've typed it in the chat, again, just short sentence or two, or a coherent thought. Give me a thumbs up once you have. All right, this is what presence means as a coach. Once you have it typed up, just hold the thumbs up for me, and I'll call your name. All right, Bruno, you're good. Put it down. What the heck does presence mean as a coach? Give me a thumbs up once you have something there besides Bruno. Rafa, I got you. Kano, I got you. Hammerman, got you. What does presence mean as a coach? What does that kind of mean? And think through, if you're having a hard time, think through like coaches that you've had, especially if you're a younger coach in the chat right now. Think through the coaches that you have. Who do you think of when you think of, no, that coach has good presence? What does that mean? All right, because this is something you guys need to have. You need to have presence. And we'll talk about this more. I just want to make sure everyone's got a good answer. Lozano, you got something for me? Okay, cool. Valeria, Drew, you got something typed out? Cool, perfect. All right, everyone head answer. Go. Just go. Go for it. All right, I'm going to read some of these answers out loud. Being there for any questions or concerns they may have at our sessions and other sessions games. Being there to help, quote unquote, 24/7, knowing what's going on. Fully engaged, being respected and recognized as an authority by the players. How you portray yourself. Being there emotionally, mentally. Being aware. Having a level of authority and respect from the people around you. Okay, cool. So I think we mostly got the right idea. So you must have presence as a coach. You are the authority. You're the authority. All right, point blank period. You're the authority. You're coach. All right. When people say like coach, 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 that's you. Right? They come to you. You're the authority. You're the leader. You're the boss. Right? Not like boss, like bossy, right? But you're the leader. You're the coach. You have to have that presence about you. You know, it's me. I'm the leader. Right? When it comes to this session, these kids, this is my session. This is my kids. I'm the authority. So I want you to think authority. You have to have presence. You're the authority. All right. And with your authority, you got to go in with that mindset. I am the authority. I am the coach. I demand respect. Right? And it doesn't mean you're like all like high and mighty about it. You stoop down to the player's level, but then you also got to bring the players back up to your level. You're the adult. So we come meet them to where they're at because they're below our level. And then we raise our level and we expect them to meet us because you have the presence, you have the authority. Okay, so how do we have presence more strategically? All right, respect, 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 respect. What I mean is it starts with yourself. All right, you got to have self-respect. You got to respect yourself as a coach. Okay, it starts there. I know that sounds like weird, but it starts there. You got to have some respect for yourself because if you don't, you can't expect the kids to have respect for you or your colleagues, right? Or any of us in this room. Okay, so you got to have respect for yourself. Cool. Well, a few more strategies besides respecting yourself. By the way, I would write that down. All right, not that exact phrasing, just respect for yourself. Just know that that's the biggest one. Respect for yourself, having presence. All right, cool. Some more strategies for presence. Undivided attention. Right, undivided attention. This is big in general because again, content doesn't matter unless you have the player's attention and they're engaged. They're not paying attention to you, they're not engaged. What doesn't matter what you're teaching them. It doesn't matter. You need undivided attention. And if you just start competing and speaking over kids, it doesn't work. You're not respecting yourself. And you're not allowing the kids to respect you. Okay? So how do we have undivided attention? All right. You guys have seen me do this all day long, most of you. The 3-2-1. Most of the times it works, but it works based on my tonality, not just the fact that I count down 3-2-1. Right? When I count down 3-2-1 versus, and this is not a shot at you, Jordan, versus when Jordan counts 3-2-1, there's a difference. We both say the same words, but one of us is more effective. And it's just in the tonality. Sometimes you get really loud, 3, and that signals a cue, and the kids know what 3-2-1 means. It's not like I just said it out of nowhere. I've explained to them, hey guys, when you hear me say 3-2-1, by the time we get to 1, I need your eyes on me and I need your body still. So I set the expectation and then they know the cue. 3, 2, 1. And by the time I get to 1, usually it's nice and quiet. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's a little chaotic. Maybe I don't use it right. But I want you to play with that 3-2-1 method. Okay. But again, it comes down to setting the expectation of what that means, explain to the kids what that means, and then your tonality with it. Use your volume, use your voice. Your biggest key as a coach, your biggest tool is your voice. Write that down. Biggest tool is your voice. Biggest tool is your voice. All right, always. So countdown, 3-2-1. That's how we get undivided attention. Another way, never speak, just the general rule, never speak over their voice. Kids are all chatting, especially a big group, they're all chatting, they're all having conversation. 3-2-1, sometimes you have to start by getting over them, but you don't want to give instruction or talk about things over their voice. If they're talking, they're being loud, or they're moving around, don't just start giving instructions. You need their undivided attention. Okay? Unless you're coaching in the flow and you're in a session, it's a small group, it's a different thing. I'm not talking about coaching in the flow. I'm talking about you have a group, you're trying to address an entire group. But if they're having little side conversations, don't just start speaking over them, right? Okay, cool. And then setting agreed upon trade-offs or consequences. We're going to talk more about that later. All right, best strategy. This is the best strategy. Write this down, connection. All right, connection. Back to 80%. Best strategy is the connection that you have with the kid, right? Especially the older they get. Right? The older they get, the more connection you have. That's really what works. right? These little like 3, 2, 1, like I don't use that with the older kids. Sometimes I will, but I don't use some of these strategies with the older kids. I use the relationship, right? The younger they are, the more these little tips and tricks and strategies will help you. Um, but in either situation, it's always the connection. That's strategy. All right, cool. Jordan, what's the best strategy? Jordan, dang it, Jordan went to the bathroom. Hammerman, what's the voice is the best tool. What's the best strategy here? It's on the screen. It's on the screen.
Connections.
Yeah, connection, right? Connection. So we just talked about connection. The best strategy is connection. All right. So the best strategy is the connection, the relationship, right? It's the best form of behavior management that you will have. And that's why it's, again, 80% of our work, right? They got to know, like, and trust you. Not always like you, but it's better if they do. If they don't know you or you don't know them, right? They won't like you, they won't trust you, they won't respect you. If they don't like you, harder to get respect. If they don't trust you, very hard to get respect. Okay, so know, like, and trust. Know, like, and trust. All right. That's the general rule in life. All right, cool. Modeling. All right, we're going to talk about modeling now. Guys, I'm moving fast, and I'm sorry about that, but I want to make sure we get through everything. Modeling. So modeling is a big thing. I'll write down modeling. Modeling behaviors. All right. Are you guys hearing that little kid outside my house right now? Yeah. I'm about to model this behavior out of it. No, I'm just kidding. Let me just close my window. All right. Sorry about that. So modeling. This is really about taking the kids that are doing the behavior and calling that out. So this is about the positive. It's not about the negative. What I mean by that is it's not about little Jimmy running around like a maniac or doing something little Jimmy's not supposed to do. It's not about calling out little Jimmy. It's about calling out the kid that's standing right next to them that's perfectly paying attention to you, looking at you, doing what you want. Instead of calling out little Jimmy, who's like being a nut, you call out little Johnny, who's being a perfect model. All right, and we're going to talk about what that looks like exactly. So, but to think about the modeling, you want to think about what actions you want, and then you want to think about who's doing that action, and then how do you call that obvious attention to that person. All right, so it sounds like, and you guys have probably heard me say this as well. So I have Joey's eyes. He's ready to learn. Emma's ball is still. She's ready to focus. I call attention to the things I want. If there's kids doing what I don't want them to do, if someone like is messing around with the ball, but I really need them to focus, the kid next to them that's paying attention and their ball still, I'm gonna call that person's name and say, I love the way that person's ball is still and she's ready to learn. Most times the kid next to them is gonna be like, oh shit, okay, they just got attention for that. I want attention for that, right? Kids want attention in general. All right, it's a very similar idea to coaching the positive. When we're giving feedback for coaching, this is switching gears, we're talking about more technical coaching now. You want to get feedback on what the player is doing right, right? Call out some specific things that they're doing right. Same thing with behavior. Call out specific things that you want that the kid's doing right. Right. So I have Joey's eyes. Greg's ready to learn. He's focused. Whatever is the behavior. That's a bad example because that's not good behavior. But anyway, modeling. All right. Sometimes you're going to have players that don't respond to modeling. All right. Sometimes kids are just going to misbehave and they often seek attention. Again, we don't want to publicly give them attention for that behavior because you're taking your attention away from the kids that are doing the right thing and you're putting it on the one kid that is not. Now the other kids are like, oh, little Johnny's getting attention for messing around. I should mess around. I'm not saying that they're consciously thinking that. They're not thinking that, right? Most kids aren't. But that's the signal you're sending to the group. Okay? So you have to be careful with that. So instead, of calling attention to what you don't want in front of the group, you still have to address it, but you address that privately. Right? You address that privately. You pull them aside when the time is right. You try to make sure you get everyone else set up. And then that one KA, just pull them back. Just hold them behind while everyone else is going to the session or doing whatever. Just hold them back a quick second if you can. It helps if you have an assistant coach around, but still find a way, right? And in general, you want to try to find a way to give that kid a challenge that they can respond to. Big strategy is giving kids challenges. Most kids that aren't behaving is because they're not engaged in some way. Sometimes it's because they feel like they're not being challenged. And I don't just mean like technically, although that is the case sometimes, but just in general. So a common response that I use, that you guys could potentially use, is challenging players to be leaders. So when I want their behavior to improve, I want to challenge them as a leader. I literally tell them, hey, like I don't pull them aside and I say, hey, I need you to stop being a little jerk. Right? I tell them, hey, look, I feel like you could be a great leader here. Right? And depending on the age of the kid, I might not say it that way. I might use different words if it's a young kid, but some similar idea of telling them that you see better in them and you know that they're better and that you know they can do it and you know that they can be an example for everyone else. Again, we're trying to give them attention for the positive behavior. So eventually when you give them a challenge like that, the one really important part of that is following up after that, because the kids will test you. They'll be like, oh, really? He thinks that? Oh, that's cool. But you're giving them that attention. They want that. But then after you give them that, if you see them do the positive behavior that you're kind of just talking about, you got to pay attention to that and praise that in front of the whole group. Give attention to that publicly when they do that required thing. Love the way Johnny's so focused right now on his U touches, whatever it is, right? And now little Johnny's going to focus more on his U touches. And all of a sudden, you don't have a behavior issue no more. But it starts when you see like a small little thing. Can you fix it quick? Can you challenge them quick? Can you basically tell them like, I know you're better than that, and here's your challenge. And then when they live up to that challenge, like praise them in front of everybody, right? This worked for me a lot with Sophia Santana. So most of you guys know Sophia Santana. She's been with me for a long time. She's one of our better players, but she's always had kind of an attitude problem, right? I think Bruno, I think you remember having an issue with her in the summer, actually. No, in the winter.
All
Yeah.
three of us.
Yep, I do.
And for me, what started working with her was this exact example, because she is technically a good player on the ball and all that, and she has some potential, but her behavior and attitude is kind of crappy. And Bruno had a conversation with her like, hey, look, if you want to play professionally, you want to do these things, because she has some higher goals, you can't be acting like that. How do you think a coach is going to respond? Right? You're going to get cut. You're not going to be on the team. They don't need you. Right? You just told her straight up. But then I kind of followed up with, but we see you as being a leader, right? And we know you're better, and we know you can get there. And slowly but surely over time, it didn't happen like instantly, but over time, you start picking that up and you start praising her for when she is doing the right things. Okay, so I want you to think about modeling behavior, modeling the positive. Don't think through the negative in your coaching and in your behavior management. It's hard though. It's really hard at the beginning, because all you want to do is tell them to just stop doing that stupid thing and focus. But that's not going to get the behavior change. Okay, it's giving them attention for the thing that we want. Don't give them attention for the thing that we don't want. Otherwise, that thing that you don't want to happen is probably going to keep happening because they're still getting attention. All right. And I'm not saying attention is the only thing they want. Sometimes it's different. But for the most part, that solves most of your problems. I'm going to pause there. In the chat, type in what you just took out of modeling. How do we model? What are we trying to model? Don't type in all the way out. Just don't hit enter. Just type in what you took out from modeling. what do we want to model, right? How do we get kids to model?
You want us answering those prompts?
Good question. So, no, I was going to do an example with you guys, but we're going to move on. It's fine. I realize there's a lot of stuff. So just quick in the chat, tell me what you just took out of this little modeling section. Ready? Everyone hit enter, go. You give attention to the positive, not the negative. Model positive behavior over the negative. Bring out the positives rather than the negatives. Yeah, bingo. Okay, that's really the one big message. Think about the positive. How do I not call this kid? And if you are, okay, I'll ask a follow-up question. If you are having trouble with, like you're doing the regular modeling and that's not working for some kids, what are you going to do then? What's the response when the modeling isn't working? Type it out, don't hit enter. When modeling isn't working, what do? Type it out, don't hit enter. Follow-up question. When modeling doesn't work, what do you do? Type it out, don't hit enter. Not yet, don't hit enter. You give kids you gave it half the answer there. When modeling doesn't work, what do? Oh my God, the answer's on the screen. Oh my God, no. Okay. All right, hit enter, go. When modeling doesn't work for a kid, what do? Give a challenge, give a choice, try to challenge them. Jordan, never mind. Yeah, you challenge them in a certain sense, or you try to, you still don't call out the negative really, but you kind of do without saying, hey, stop doing that. You just tell them, hey, look, I know you're better than that. You're challenging them. You tell them that, like, I know you're better than that. You're showing them you believe in them, but you're also challenging them. So find a way to challenge them with your behavior, with your language. Best way that I find is you're better than that. I use that in my coaching all the time as well for technical. When they make a bad touch or a bad play, hey, you're better than that. Or even if they do a good play, but it's not as good as I know they can do, or I'm just trying to push a kid, hey, I know you're better than that. You're better than that. Make a better touch there. Make that better pass. Hit that player. I know you can do it. Right? So always challenge players to level up. Don't bring them down. All right, moving on. You guys are doing a good job. All right, redo. We're going to talk about redo. So we also have redo. So we model the behavior. Sometimes we want to redo desired behavior. So when teaching athletes your boundaries, your rules, your expectations, your trade-offs, it's okay to have them redo things until they get it. Okay? But it must be then and there in the moment. Here's what I mean. I want you to think about these steps. I want you to educate the athlete on what you want and why you want it. Right? The why is super important with any behavior that you want. You've gotta have a why behind it. It can't just be like, I just want you to do that. It can't be that. It's gotta have a reason, you gotta explain it. Once they understand, you've checked for their understanding as to why is important, then you have them redo the desired behavior. So I'm gonna give you an example. So I do this all the time. I do this on a one athlete basis, or I do this on a group basis when I need to. One thing that I don't like, and I explain this to my players, is I don't like wasted time in my sessions. For me, wasted time is any moment you could think of that isn't required. So for me, it's when they're walking from the water break to come to me. Right? Sometimes I let them do that because we just had an intense part of the session, but other times I want to move fast and I don't want to waste those 5 seconds, even if it's just 5 seconds. Right? Or when a kid's late, that's a better example. When a kid's late to a session and they're just strolling along the field, I hate that. I don't want to see that. Not just for me, I don't want them doing that at tryout. I don't want them doing that at their club practice. All they're showing their coaches they don't really care. Right? And that's not true. It's probably not true, but that's what you signal. And I want kids to understand that. And I explain that to them. And I don't tell them, I say, hey, what do you think it shows me when you're late and we're already practicing and you walk onto the field? Kids are smart. They know the answer. They'll eventually get to the point of like, telling you like it shows I don't really care, or I don't want to be there, or I don't respect the coach. They'll say that they know the answers. They're smart. And you say, okay, great. So here's what I need you to do. I need you to go back all the way to the parking lot. And when you get to the parking lot, I need you to show me how you're going to get here when you're late. And I make kids do that. And when they're going to the parking lot, they should be running, right? By the conversation you had, they get the expectation of, okay, coach is serious. I need to show them I respect them. They go, they run in the parking lot and they run back. Okay, you got it? Great. We move on with our day. But I do it right then and there. I don't wait for next week. It's gone. The moment's gone. They're not going to remember. You could have explained all that, but if they didn't do the action, it's gone. Next week, it's gone. It doesn't matter. They're going to come late next week and do the same thing. I did this recently with Carlos. All right. Carlos is one of our newer players. Every time you see him, he's not even late sometimes, but you'll just see him sometimes come to the field and he's just running because he sees me. So have the kids redo the desired behavior. As long as you explain why it's important, they understand why it's important, then get them to redo it right then and there. That's another big strategy right there. Redo behavior. Okay? Any questions with that one? No? All right, cool. Drew, explain to me the redo behavior. What are the steps there without reading them in your own words?
You first educate the athlete on what they did wrong.
Okay.
And explain to them why is wrong and what you can do about it. And then you check for understanding to know that they know what they did wrong and why it's wrong. And then 3 would be just redo the whole thing.
Yeah. Who could add on slightly to what Drew's saying? Who could kind of add on? So Drew, that was an excellent job.
I'll add on.
Yeah.
You forgot to check for understanding.
He said that.
You saw that?
He said that. There was a small piece though, Bruno. You're on the right thinking terms. There was a small piece you can change in what he said. So I'll repeat what Drew said and see if you guys can catch it. So he said, educate the athlete on what they did wrong.
Make sure that they know what they did wrong, understand it.
Yeah. So he said that too. He said that too.
Okay.
But
Make sure you know what you want. Make them know what you want.
bingo, right? So make them know the positive behavior, right? So it's okay that you tell them, hey, that's not okay, but tell them this is what I expect. This is what I want. And here's why I want that. Because when you go to your club practices, I don't want your club coach to bench you because you're late, right? So yes, tell them what they did wrong. It's totally cool. But then always remember, think through the positive. Always think through the positive side. So what do I want? What do I want them to do? Not just stop doing that, but do this. Like tell them the positive. All right, cool. Moving on. Good job, Drew. Thank you. All right. This is a strategy you must use in everything you do. Write this one down. Explain the why. Explain the why. You got to explain the why. We just talked about that here a little bit.
You didn't want us writing down that the redo.
You don't need to write down all slides, guys. You just need to write down the key topics, like explain the why and know what that means, right? Explain the why. So this strategy you must use is explaining the why. Many times kids just don't know why it's important. They don't know why what they're doing is not okay or not correct. They don't. And that's okay. They're kids. They don't know what we know. They haven't gone through the experiences we have, right? So just explain it. It's your job to, if you see a kid do something wrong or not to our expectations, it's your job as one of our coaches to educate them on what went wrong, why, and why it's important that they do this action instead. Just educate, but you got to have a why. All right, so you need to teach and explain the why. And if you don't know why we do something, or if you don't know why I expect some things out of kids, that's totally cool. I need you to come to me and be like, dude, why do we do that? That's dumb. Hopefully you don't think it's dumb. But if you do, that's cool. I'm open to that. And maybe it is dumb. Maybe it's time to change that. Okay, so we're always changing and evolving. But I need you guys to have your own brains on and be like, no, that's dumb. Like, why do we have kids show up 15 minutes early? That's dumb. You might think that. And then I'll explain it to you. And I'll be like, no, it's not dumb. Here's why. Okay. Um, so yeah, just always have the why. If you don't know why, you need to find out why. And use this for your own stuff, not even for just stuff that I expect from you guys to have onto the kids, but you might have your own little rules that you have with the kids. And that's fine. As long as you know why you're doing it, it's important, it makes sense. So that the kids understand, so that all of us coaches understand, right? Explain the why. All right, cool. This is another one you must use. Use the player's goals. We talked about this earlier. Strategy you must use. Use the player's goals. All right? This is similar going back to the Valeria example with our Steve, right? Reminding the player what they want or what they say they want and how that aligns to their actual actions, what they're doing. Some kids, most 95%, 99% of our kids, they want to improve. They actually want to learn. They like want to get better. They like playing. They want to get better. So you can just use that, especially for the young ones. Like, why are you here? To get better. They know that. Okay, cool. Do you think this is going to help you get better? Should you be doing this or this? Well, I should be doing that. Okay, cool. So let's do that. Done. End the conversation. Right? So why we're here is just an easy one. If you have older athletes, all right, some of our kids want to play college. Some of our kids want to play pro. Okay, cool. You remember when you told me you want to play pro? Remember when you told me you want to play college? All right. Do you think what you're doing now is gonna be something you want to do in college or in pro? Or how do you think that your pro coach would respond? How do you think your college coach would respond? Get the kids to think and answer. They know the answers, guys. We all know the answers. Like, just stop being stupid, right? So this is a strategy you must use. Use the player's goals, or in general, for our younger players, their goal is just to improve. So that's fine too. Just ask them why you're here. Oh, you're here to get better? Okay, cool. Well, do you think what you're doing is going to help you get better? Cool. Any questions there? All right. 2 ones you need to know. Explain the why, big strategy, and use the player's goals. You need to always have your why for your stuff, and you need to always know the player's goals. Use them. We already talked about the Archetype example. Cool. We're going to talk about trade-offs real quick. Having trade-offs. Bruno, can you read this?
Yep. Having trade-offs, aka consequences. A trade-off, better known as a consequence, is an outcome or response that follows a specific behavior aimed at reinforcing or discouraging that behavior. Consequences can be positive or negative. Positive consequences, such as rewards or praise, are used to reinforce and encourage desirable behaviors. Negative consequences, such as timeouts or loss of privileges, are intended to discourage and reduce the occurrence of undesirable behaviors. The effectiveness of consequences relies on their consistency, immediacy, and appropriateness to the behavior in question. They play a crucial role in shaping behavior by providing clear feedback on the acceptability of actions.
Cool. Thank you. So that's the idea there, trade-offs, right? Same thing as consequences. I just like to call them trade-offs because for me, I like laying it out to the kid. Like, hey, here are my expectations. If you can't meet those expectations, then this is what that is. So like, you get to choose. You want to not do that? Okay, cool. Here's your trade-off. You don't get this. Or if you do this, okay, cool. We're gonna have a great time. And here's that. So for me, it's like a trade-off. I don't look at it as like a consequence. It's just, which one do you want? What do you want? All right. Um, so having trade-offs, these are common examples. Common one we use is the silly serious. The silly serious trade-off, right? We're just telling them, hey, sometimes we can be silly, sometimes we can be serious. So that's like it's not really it's kind of like a trade-off, I guess, but it's more like an option. We kind of give the kids that understanding that, hey, we know you're kids, we know you're going to be silly sometimes, but you got to be silly on our terms, right? Like, we're going to be silly, but when we want to be serious, we want to train, we're focused, we're working. And they know that, and you explain that trade-off to them. Okay, so have that be understood. And our kids know that silly serious thing. Another common one is our street time, our game time, right? Use that as a positive. I don't like using that as a negative, right? I use it, frame that as a positive as much as I can. So, hey guys, the more focused we are right now, the harder we work in this one activity, the more time we'll have to get the games in, right? We can move faster, right? So that's a positive thing that we want. Third one, we already talked about the 3 rules, the 2 standards, right? So if they can't stick to those, well, then I tell them that they're not ready to train. If they're not ready to train, they can sit down and observe everyone else train. That's the trade-off. All right, so those are some common ones. So I would just have those common ones noted: the silly serious, the game time, the 3 rules, and the 2 standards. Right, those are some common ones. Having trade-offs. All right, I feel like I had too much content for today, but we're getting there. Okay, setting boundaries, trade-offs. We talked about respecting yourself. It starts with that. But to basically set your boundaries or your trade-offs, the big important thing with trade-offs, guys, is you have to actually be prepared to follow through with what you say. So if you say, hey guys, we're going to focus on getting this done right now, this drill, this exercise, and if you're focused and we're getting it done, we're going to have more time for play. So meaning if they're not focused and they're not getting it done, we're going to keep taking our time until it gets done, which means we're going to have less time for street. Like, don't be afraid to do that. Don't tell them that unless you're willing to do that. Okay, so the follow-up is going to be the real key here. So I want you to think about, like, if I'm about to tell this kid a trade-off or a consequence, am I actually going to do that? Like, if they don't do what I want them to do, am I actually going to be like, sit them out or whatever it is the consequence? Because if you're not going to actually do that, then it doesn't mean anything. And then you've lost respect, right? So you got to respect yourself and be able to follow through on what you say. But that's why you got to be very careful with what you say, what you lay out to the kids. Don't go too extreme with something that when the moment comes, you're going to be like, oh, shoot, I can't do that. That's too much. So you don't want to be too extreme with your trade-offs. You just want to be, I guess, fair. All right. 2 keys. I want you guys to know these 2 keys. This is important. 2 keys to setting your trade-offs or your boundaries. We're never forcing anyone to do anything. So when we communicate trade-offs, we're not forcing kids to do anything. We're giving them the choice. We're saying, hey, this is the expectation. If we have this expectation met, then this will happen. If it's not, then this will happen. And you let them choose, let their behavior tell you which one they're choosing. That's the attitude you need to have with your trade-offs. Remove yourself from like what they want to do. That's not your problem, that's their problem. Just be prepared to act on whatever you're telling them, right? Follow through. But don't get attached to, okay, now I need them to behave this. No, it's on them. And when you communicate in that style of like, hey, it's on you, you take the pressure off yourself, and the kids like feel it if you actually follow through. So they might not believe you at first, but then when you follow through, the next time you start saying it again, they're going to start listening to you. Okay? So I want you to think about this key. We never force anyone to do anything. We just give them choice. All right? The key 2 when setting a trade-off, we follow up. I've been talking about all day. Follow up, follow up, follow up. You have to follow up with what you say. Okay? So those are the 2 keys. We give choices, we don't force anything, and we follow up. Okay, cool. Following up, all right? So just because you establish the trade-offs doesn't mean it'll work. Right, I'm repeating myself a bit here. They only work if you actually follow up. Okay, so here's some keys to follow up. All right, here's some keys to follow up. You want to know these 4 keys here. Consistency. Be consistent in your follow-up. Be consistent in your discipline. All right, from kid to kid, but also understanding that there might be some individual situations. But be as consistent as possible. And don't change up too drastically. You don't want kids feeling confused, them feeling like uncomfortable. Like sometimes you're going to be this crazy about things, and then sometimes you just don't care. Like, be consistent with how you follow up. Like, no, hey, look, I told you this, and then you did this. So now you got to go sit out, or you got to do this. The next time that happens, you better act the same exact way. Don't be like, it's fine today. Don't worry about it. You just got so mad at me last week. And now this week you're like, whatever. So you got to be careful with how you're feeling that day. Of like, you still got to be consistent from week to week, day to day with the kids, because the kids feel that. Right. So consistency, that's the most important one. Number two, say what you mean, right? Again, if you say, hey, this is what's going to happen, if this happens, say that, mean that. The minute they see, like, he doesn't really mean that, you lose it. Done. Behavior management out the window. All right. Number three, check for understanding. All right. Check their understanding of the situation. So, what I mean by that is if they didn't do something you wanted or whatever, or like there is a behavior issue, just make sure you also check for what the player understood out of that situation. Because sometimes they just didn't fully understand you. Sometimes they thought you meant something that you didn't mean, and there was just a misunderstanding. So just make sure you check for understanding. Like, hey, you remember when I told you this, right? And I said when this happens, then you would sit out or whatever. Remember that, right? Yeah, you said, okay, good. So they understand. We're like, no, I thought you said this, this, and this. And sometimes they'll try to BS you, but you'll know if they're BSing, or you'll know if like, oh, no, he really didn't understand, right? So check for understanding. The last one, just make sure you're actually setting the trade-offs. If we don't have any trade-offs, any consequences, there's nothing to follow up on. All right, cool. So know those four keys: consistency, say what you mean, check for understanding, and then set the trade-off, set the boundary. Cool. Sorry I'm moving super fast today, guys, but I want to get you guys out of here. All right. Example. We'll do a quick example, and then we'll start wrapping up. So I want you to imagine a kid you know. All right. And when you call the kid in, the kid's not really bringing it in. He stays by the water. He's kind of maybe strolling in like way later. Like you called him and he's coming in like 2, 3 minutes later. Right. I want you to write down in the chat what will you actually follow through with if they do that in that situation. What would you kind of do? And maybe you could use some of the strategies and things we talked about today. Hopefully you can think of something from what we've been talking about. Type it in the chat, hit enter. Just want to make sure people are kind of taking some things out of today. So you call a kid in, the rest of the kids come in, but this one kid's showing along, is just like taking his time, not paying attention. This is like whatever. What are you actually going to follow through with? What's going to happen? Give me a thumbs up when you've typed something in the chat. Give me a thumbs up when you type something in the chat. Hammerman, I got you. Rafa, I got you. Lozano, I got you. Bruno, got you. Keno, I got you. Val, I got you. Cool. All right, ready? Everyone hit enter. Go. All right, so let me show you don't want him to waste time like that. Explain why. Make sure he understands and correct his attitude by having him run back to the water and come back to the field again. Perfect. Tell them how you want them to do it. Ask them if they understand, and then have them redo it. Perfect redo. Yeah, it's a perfect redo example. Ignore the child when he or she is ready to come to the group and does something correct and positive reinforce it. Okay. Going to advise them They can stay on the side while the group continues to train. Okay, cool. Yeah, maybe he's not ready to train. Setting what energy you want, showing them the reason you want the behavior. Okay, cool. Yeah, so good job, guys. I think this is a perfect redo example. I'll just be like, yeah, no, that's not okay. Here's why. So I need you to go back and show me how we need it done, right? And you got to be good about how you deliver that. Again, we're not there as like, you don't want to be angry when you do, like say that. You don't want to be angry about it because then you're showing the kid that they have power over you. So that's one thing you never want to show is like emotion or anger or get too into it, invested emotionally, because then it won't work. You just got to be very calm, neutral, detached. Just like, hey, this is what I need. Here's why. Go do it. Done. Right? All right. These are important to know. We're wrapping up, guys. Then we're going to do the quick quiz. Cardinal sins for behavior management. Cardinal sins. These are 3 things we don't want to be doing. Number 1, arguing or yelling. Right? There should be 0 back and forth arguing with a kid. Right? Going back to that EJ example. There's maybe one of those things where I try to talk to him and then he would try to talk back to me, but not like ready to come and talk like like he was good. So then I just, okay, you're not ready? Cool. I don't keep going back and forth and arguing, right? You're the adult. They're not on your level to argue with. You can argue with other adults. You don't argue with kids. Okay, so don't stoop down to their level. Don't go back and forth. There's no need for that. Okay, and never yell. We don't need to yell. Unless it's an instruction in gameplay and you're trying to push the intensity, that's different. I'm talking about behavior stuff, okay? 2, not following up, right? We just talked about that. If you don't follow up, then they're not going to take you seriously. It's done. He never does that. He just says that. Done. You have no behavior management. Okay. Competing for attention. Competing for attention. Never compete for attention with the kids, right? So what I mean by that is the undivided attention thing. Never speak over them or they're all chit chatting. You're trying to get your word. No, you're not competing. You're the coach. Have some cue to get them quiet. Have some model the behavior to get them to focus on you. Once you got the attention, then your voice is to be heard. Don't compete for attention. When you speak, the attention's on you. All right. And the same thing when the other kids, if you're having like a group discussion, when the other kids are talking, you need to hold those kids accountable to paying attention to whoever's talking to one of the kids. So it's not just like, oh, when coach is talking, we all got to focus. But when little Jimmy talks, who cares? No, we all care when little Jimmy talks too. So you model the behavior there too. Okay. All right. Cool. Going back to that first initial example that you wrote down earlier, all right, that example that you had, I want you to think through what you could have done differently, basically. Same example as before. So just add on your little notepad what you could have done differently. All right, based on maybe some of the things we discussed. What could you have done differently? What could you have tried? What's a strategy that maybe you would have been willing to try or do differently? And then that's it. We'll get the quiz and we're done, guys. And this week, also, after you have your answer to this question on the screen, this week I want you to, if you have sessions, I know we only have sessions tomorrow, but this week, going into next week, I want you to think about what you want to try. Give me one strategy that you learned today that you want to try, or that you want to keep working on, or you want to get better at. I want you to type that in the 360 app. Tell me what's one strategy you want to try this week, because I'm going to hold you guys to that, all right, during your sessions. And I'll ask you how it went. And yeah, just give me something you want to try with the kids. Type that part in the 360 to a private message to me, just like yesterday. And then also just give me any feedback from today's session in general, what you picked up, and from a scale of 1 to 10, type in a scale 1 to 10, how you feel your behavior management is at your sessions. Some of you guys might be like, I'm a 10. Psh, my kids are no problems, totally fine. Or you might be like, I'm a 1. I don't know what I'm doing. Totally cool. There's no wrong answer. I just want you to self-reflect. Where do you feel like you're at 1 to 10? Put that in the 360 as well.
So you're writing that to you individually, yes?
Individually on 360, you're telling me what's one strategy you want to try or work on this week or next week or the next couple weeks. And then from 1 to 10, where do you feel your behavior management is right now? 1 being like 0 control, no idea, no presence, nothing. 10 being like amazing presence, respect all around, no issues ever, know how to handle every issue. Right, perfect. How's your behavior management 1 to 10? Thank you, Hammerman, Bruno, Jordan. Those are quick rating. Hammerman, just let me know 1 to 10 where you're at with behavior management. Oh, there you go. Yeah, and just a note of feedback, guys, on today, just in general. So you're telling me 3 different things on 360. Number 1, one strategy. And Rafa, you could just click new chat on 360. I know you don't know how to use it, but if you click new chat.
Yeah, and then I clicked your name. I just figured it out.
Yeah, okay, perfect.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep. So you're writing what's one strategy you're trying to implement from 1 to 10. Where are you in your behavior management? And then just overall feedback from today's session. This was a waste of time, or I learned some things. This was good. Why was it good? Like, give me something so I know how to improve these things.
Oh, you want us to judge you, is what you're saying.
Feedback. I want feedback. I don't care about your judgment. You can tell me I'm shit. I know I'm still super fresh, so it's fine. Give me feedback though. You know what? It was like this. It was like that. I liked the interaction. I like thinking about this. I like those strategies. I didn't like that. Whatever. Just general feedback. So again, 3 things. 1 strategy you're trying to implement. Rate your own behavior management 1 to 10, and give me some general feedback from today. All right, we'll give this another 2-3 minutes, guys. Couple minutes. Take your time, and then we'll get the quiz and get out of here. Ken, I'll just mute yourself, bud. Please. Sorry, you guys probably didn't that. My bad. All right, we got most of you. Still missing a couple of you guys.
Just mute yourself, bud.
Oh, Cano, he's so funny. He's so funny.
I'll just decide. Tomorrow we are in North Woodmere Park, yes. You're coaching at 6? So we have to be there 5:15, I believe. When do you think you have an idea of when everything will go into effect?
What do you mean? What are you talking about?
In terms of timing and when we should arrive and all this.
Yeah, that's gonna go along with the pay structure. So for now, everything's the same as normal. but as discussed with the pay structure changing, some of the timing and those things, that'll come with it. So I'll outline that more as we make that change. But
Okay.
yeah.
No worries.
Okay. Okay. Give me 1 second, guys. I think I got most of you. 1, 2. I think I'm missing just a couple of you guys. No worries. Take another minute and let's get that in. Okay, I think I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think I almost got everyone. 30 more seconds. Let's wrap this up. Mm-mm-mm. Okay. Okay. So let's jump into the quiz, guys. Same format as yesterday. It'll be a Kahoot. So if you have a mobile device with you, you'll have a code. I'm just pulling it up. Give me 2 seconds. Let me share this. Host. I'm going to host this live right now. Here we go. Okay, just go, everyone go to kahoot.it, I believe it is, kahoot.it. If you don't know how to spell that, I'm pulling that up shortly. Just give me 2 seconds. All right, let me share my screen with you guys. Let me stop sharing this. Stop presenting. All right, let's see who wins today. No Marlin to kick you guys' asses.
It won't be as satisfying when I win then.
Oh, no Juan either. And no Sammy today. Sammy had training.
What happened with Juan?
Juan, sure, I don't know. He messaged me. I didn't get to see it. Guys, first name, last initial. First name, last initial. Thank you, Jordan. So if you don't know what you're doing, you go into Kahoot, www.kahoot.it on your mobile device. Type in that game then.
Please, no Bry guy. Just put your name, please. I'm begging.
Oh, Drew knows how to spell his name today. Drew with no
I
vowels.
mistyped it last time.
Drew had no vowels in his name yesterday. All right, cool. I think we almost got everyone. We're just missing Bry guy. Where's Bry guy?
My bad. Hold on. 3, 2, 8, 7, 7, 9, 1.
I think this.
Right, guy. I got
I
it.
think this one's easier than yesterday's.
We all got in the Euros.
I did too. You guys all crushed it. All right. Oh my God. Really? What is that emoji, man? What are you doing here?
Who y'all got in the Euros?
All right, let's do this. Here we go. Let's see who's our winners today. All right, guys. So the questions are going to come up on screen, and the matching answers are going to go along with it. You just got to type the corresponding answer on your phone. So here's question 1. What are the 3 rules to sessions? What are the 3 rules to sessions? Oh, wait. It should be what is... Wait, kid, does it let you select multiple? I forget.
No.
No.
All right, you choose the damn it. I messed this one up, guys.
Incorrect one. It's the incorrect
Incorrect one. If you guys messed it up, that's
Ridiculous.
yeah. So
Whoever got it right has to get it wrong on purpose the next one. This is bullshit.
That was pretty easy though. Come on.
I put eye contact.
Right.
So the
Identify
3
it.
rules, that's my fault on the question, guys. I will omit that question. All right.
No, don't admit that. I'm in
No,
first place.
we're omitting that, Bright guy.
Let's reduce his points.
3 rules to the sessions: eye contact, ask questions, and be positive.
How many points did you get?
Is not a rule; it's a standard. It's a standard. So those.
He reduce 811 at the end of the game.
Let me clarify. All right, we have 2 standards while training. This one you're picking the correct one. What are the 2 standards?
My brother in Christ.
Yeah, this is difficult.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch a tiger by its toe.
No. What are the 2 standards?
No!
No, I didn't know.
You. Oh,
Laser focus and best effort. Be positive was a rule. All right. Drew. Okay, Drew. Oh, by the way, Drew, you were last yesterday. Sorry, just had to say that.
Trash.
Garbage.
It wasn't Valeria.
No worries, Drew. You'll drop soon enough.
All right, here we go.
I win today.
Here we go. Pay attention. Strategies for gaining presence with kids include all except.
Oh, no. I picked the wrong one.
Wait, I think I'm confused.
Oh, I picked the right one. Let's go.
All
Can't
right.
be dumb as fuck.
Yo, I thought I picked the wrong one.
So, sitting players down is not how you gain presence, right? That may be like a trade-off that you get. Hey, if you do this, you got to sit down. But it doesn't give you presence. What gives you presence is strategies, the countdown thing, getting their attention, never speaking over them, right? And then you setting those trade-offs.
Who picked blue? Who picked blue?
This guy goes on.
All right, let's see. Drew stays in the lead. Bry guy in second. Hammerman in third. Rafa's in fourth. Here we go, Rafa. Bruno's on the leaderboard. True or false? Explaining the why is a must strategy. Explaining the why. Meaning
This
you
is
must
wrong.
use
This is
the
sorry
strategy.
in this quiz.
True or false? Explaining the why. Yes, guys, true. Absolutely. You must explain the why. You must explain the why. In everything we do, not even just behavior management. Like, why am I making you do this behavior? But also, why are we doing this drill? Why am I telling you to take that ball there? Why am I telling you to move here, right? You gotta know why. I want my players thinking and challenging you guys. Okay. I may purposely tell your players, hey, go ask him why he's making you do that. I've actually done that to one of you guys. You don't know. But anyway. Okay, cool. Drew. Okay, Drew. Oh, Bruno, you talking big game, man. You fell off. Drew's killing you right now.
I'm coming back.
All right.
No, he's not.
Eminence
Stay down there,
fire
Bruno.
over here.
Stay
He's got
down
the
there.
fire emoji.
He's not coming back. I'm on that ass.
Eminence 3 for 3, I think, or the last.
Another must is using the athlete's parents.
What?
You suck. Absolutely disgraceful.
Jordan, you're fired.
Bruno, come on though, dude. Out of all people, you would get that one wrong.
You gotta use your parents. What are you talking about, Fernando?
I mean, you can, but I don't think
You're muted.
I think you're muted or your sound went out.
I think that's like a last resort. I don't think it's like a must.
You're muted.
You're muted.
Bruh.
I guess I'm the winner.
All right, there we go. Does my mic work now?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, cool. Sorry about that. I was having issues.
Yes.
I haven't heard much from Hammerman. What's
All
going
right.
on there, Ham?
Going back to this question here. All right. This is not a must strategy. You don't have to use their parents. We can partner with the parents, like Bruno does very well, but it's not
But
a
that
must.
should be a must though for the lead coaches. You must partner with the parents.
I didn't say partner with the parents, though. I said you must use the parents.
Well, but partnering with the parents is using the parents.
All right. But that's
Wah, wah,
right.
wah.
You're getting tricky with it, but I see what you're saying.
No,
I see
that's how I see it, and you do with parents every time, so you know how it is.
I see what you're saying.
Okay.
I see what you're saying. Oh, Bruno, did you get that wrong?
You did have to reword the question.
Obviously, I got that
Hey,
wrong.
Bruno, it's okay to lose sometimes.
All
Right?
I hear is tears. All I hear
Oh
is
no. All right, Drew's killing it. Drew's making a vengeance. Oh, Val's up. Val, I see Val's name here. Wow.
Well, the losers from last time were
True or
actually
false? When it comes to monitoring behavior, the key is paying attention.
Oh, everybody's gonna get this right.
Who got it wrong?
Wow.
Here, right now.
I don't know why.
It was Bruno. It was Bruno. It was Bruno.
It was
Bruno,
Kano,
really?
man. Kano said everybody's gonna get this right.
Okay,
When it
no, you
comes
got
to
it.
monitoring, maybe the key is paying attention.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah, but you said if I'm monitoring a kid, you said not to pay attention to them.
What?
You have to give them attention or give them praise.
No, that's not what I said. So when you're monitoring for behavior, all I want you to do is pay attention. Pay attention to what's
Bro,
being
these
said,
questions are always true anyway, so I
body
just
language.
pick true instead of false.
Okay, keep doing that strategy. See how it works for you. But anyway, you want to you want to monitor behavior by just paying attention. What are they saying to each other in session? How's their body language?
All right, next question. Let's go.
Pay attention.
Let's go.
Yes, sir.
Come on, please.
All right, Drew's still in the lead. Drew's killing it today. When paying attention, we are focused on all of the following except what are we focused on when we pay attention? This one's a little tricky. I'm not gonna lie to you guys.
Come on, Harriman. Make me proud, Harriman. Goalkeeper Academy.
He's your only hope today.
Oh yeah.
All right, you gotta get that right. So their performance, we're not necessarily paying attention to that. When it comes to the behavior, right? We're talking specifically behavior. So we want to pay attention to body language, energy, what they say. All right.
Kano, I'm on that ass.
You literally are right behind me.
What?
Drew's killing it. Hammerman. Okay, Hammerman, you got a shot here. Here we go. Rafa's hanging tight. Rafa's hanging tight. True or false? When modeling behavior, we call out the kids who are not doing the behavior we want. A little bit tricky on the wording. Pay attention. When modeling behavior, we call out kids who are not doing. That's correct. All right. We model all the kids who are doing it. Good job, guys. Good job.
Okay, Jordan.
I know. I thought these were all true. What happened?
And
All right. Here we go. Drew maintaining the lead. Leaderboard stays the same after that.
It's gonna
Right?
go
All right.
wrong.
Next one. Here we go.
Harriman's
All
quiet.
are cardinal sins in behavior management, except which one's not a cardinal sin?
What?
Oh, I messed up. Damn. That's it for me. I'm done.
Which one's not a cardinal sin?
Wow. I guess this is where it ends.
Ooh, you guys struggled. Bruno, so high.
I knew I got it wrong as soon as I saw
Because
kidding
you
kids out,
said
bro.
cardinal sins, and that just sounds weird. I don't understand that.
So if I go back, hold on one second. Sorry, I keep forgetting the shit.
Aren't you still last place? Why are you dancing?
Because you got.
Oh,
you
you're
got
fourth. God damn it. Who's last then?
All right. So, real quick, I just want to make sure you guys are getting this. Cardinal sins: arguing or yelling, not following up, and competing for attention. We don't do these things. We don't compete for attention. We don't not follow up. We have to follow up with our consequences, and we never argue or yell. All right.
Yeah, I didn't write this down because you were going
But I want
20,000
your-
miles an
No
hour.
excuses,
But I
Keanu.
want your
No
attention.
excuses.
Yeah, because you're saying it's because you're the first one that got it right.
So
the only
you
one that got it right.
sitting kids out is not a cardinal sin. All right, that's the only one that we can sit kids out. That can be a consequence.
Brazilians, man.
All right.
Yeah, that includes you, Rafa.
Bruno's back on the leaderboard. Here we go, Bruno. Don't count yourself out.
Rafa's like, damn.
I'm gonna lose my shit.
All right, here we go. The best behavior management strategy is
Oh my god.
it's also 80% of our job.
Yes.
Yes, good job, guys.
Took a
Connection.
little while to
Connection.
answer that.
That's the best behavior management strategy.
Come on, man.
Having that connection with the kids, they're gonna listen to you, right? Jordan. Okay, Jordan back in the top 5. Drew's hanging strong, Drew. Let's go.
Come on, Hammerman.
Presence is, what is presence, guys? Presence is, I have to put it
The
in one
fast
word.
clicks.
Authority, good job. Yes, presence is authority.
I'm answering like the last.
You are
like
the
taking my
authority.
time to read it and stuff. I forget.
Drew hanging strong, Hammerman right behind him. Rafa still in third. All right, you guys are staying even keeled. True or false? One key to follow up on behavior is setting trade-offs. True or false?
I'm not gonna lie, I don't even know the answer. I guessed. I'm hoping I'm right.
Oh, Jordan, that's not the point of this. It's true.
Oh
guys.
my god, I was correct.
It's true. That's one of the keys. All right. So going back to follow up, keys to follow up. Setting the trade-offs is one of them. Checking for understanding, saying what you mean, and consistency. All right, good work. Last few questions here. Let's see the leaderboard. Wow, this is staying unchanged. Drew, you're killing it, man.
No one cares.
Select all common trade-offs we use. What are the common
You
trade-offs?
can select all of them. What the fuck?
Shoot, so the wrong one. The wrong one. I meant accept. Sorry, guys. I was a little sleepy when I did this.
I don't even know. I'm gonna be honest.
Which one
Very
is not a
easy.
trade-off that we use? Which one's not a consequence that we take away?
Who's reading?
This one's a little
Why
tricky.
would
I'm
you
sorry.
do it? Oh my god. Oh my god.
Nah, man, come on. Again?
Yeah,
You're
buddy.
serious? That's a trade-off?
All right. Water breaks are not a consequence that we use. Not a trade-off. Never take away water. All right, kids need that.
Are we doing like the chocolate thing? The chubby
All right, let's keep it
Oh,
going.
the-
Wait, true or false? We start having presents by having a NNN style. This one's tricky. This one's tricky.
I'm so lonely.
I knew he was gonna pull that. I knew he was gonna pull it. You can't say anything else if he pulls that out. Oh, okay.
Are you
I had a feeling it was false.
Are you shitting?
So, how do we start having presents, guys? What's
It's
the
my
first
fault.
step? Does anyone remember?
Be serious.
It's okay. It's okay. That was a really tricky one. That was a really tricky one.
It was tricky. That was my fault. That I got that wrong.
Presents. All right.
A bad question. No trickiness to it.
Respect yourself, yeah.
Terrible question.
That's the first one, right? So respect and respect yourself. Okay. So that's really the first step. What am I doing? All right.
Bull.
Who's Bree guy?
Brian Cano.
Fucking ridiculous.
Hey, watch your mouth, sir. Quiz. All right. When having an athlete redo a behavior, you should do all the following except.
Let's go. I won. I won.
Drew, so what?
Yeah, I drew one.
Drew, you were last yesterday, so now you're like average.
Yeah, and guess what, Bruno? I'm
All right.
first.
Third,
Second.
Rafa. Well done.
Okay,
He's just
Bruno.
in third the whole time. Second, Hammerman. Well done, sir. Oh my God, I can't believe Drew went from
Yeah,
last
why
to
are we
first.
not getting like
Bruno, I did it for the Brazilians. Top three.
bye
You're used to
bye
it.
Brazilians, bye bye.
Oh man, Bruno, you did so well yesterday and today.
Take away 811.
Oh, you had a few questions that were doubtful, so
They were questionable. They were
What
questionable.
what place is Val at?
What places? I will tell you later.
No,
All
no,
right,
tell me now.
I don't know. I'll have
Can
to
we
check.
not do that? Can we do that like later?
Yeah, don't worry about that. I'll tell you, Drew. I'll make you Drew player. All right, guys. Thank you so much for today. I know again it was very dry, but we got through it. Behavior management stuff. Make sure you've already sent me the strategy that you want to use or strategy you want to try with your sessions in the coming weeks. Send me your 1 through 10 where you feel like you're at with your behavior management, and send me just your feedback from today. Okay, make sure you do that in 360 Player, private chat directly to me. Besides that, thank you so much. Next week, we'll do either Monday or Tuesday. Next week, we'll get into just talking about our curriculum a little bit, just an overview of our curriculum. So it'll be more technical soccer stuff, all right? So we can start moving on to that. Okay? All right, guys. Thank you so much. Have a great day, and
All right, Drew, put it away.
Wait. Are we
Calm
doing Kahoot
down.
next week as well? Are we doing Kahoot like every week?
we will have a Kahoot, yes.
All right. Make someone else do the questions, please.
I will do better job with the
a
question.
prize. Thank
Bye,
you.
guys.
Bye,
Have a
guys.
good night.
Have a good night.
So if anyone has questions, I'm here to stay. Hang around.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye
If you want
bye.
to know who came, where
Bye
Val came from,
bye.
I'll let you know.
Bye bye.